What's going on, guys? It is action time once again. Today, we're going to save a train full of passengers with our good buddy, Steven Seagal. It's Under Siege 2 Dark Territory next on Drew Reviews. So last week, guys, I reviewed Under Siege. I absolutely love that movie. Gave it an 8 out of 10. Stand by that 8 out of 10. Think it's very good. This week, it's the sequel, which came 3 years later, Under Siege Dark Territory. This is a pretty good movie as far as sequels go. A lot of times when there's a really good movie, the sequel's a step down. And this one kind of is it's kind of the Die Hard 2 to Die Hard. But I do love this. Speaking of Die Hard, of course, it's one of those Die Hard onas that we were talking about. This one's Die Hard on a train. You've basically got the character of Casey Ryback, and he's taking his niece from Denver to LA. There's some pretty good characters on this train, like the porter, played by Morris Chestnut, one of his first roles. I could see somebody being on the fence about his performance in this movie. It's a little bit over the top. But of course, these terrorists come on board. You've got Eric Bogosian, and he plays Travis Dane. He's got this attack satellite that they've put into orbit that he created, and he's a little bit on the crazy side, very eccentric, and he faked his own death, so that they could pull this plot off. I believe I can't remember what the dollar amount was that he wanted from the United States government, but it was a lot. And he's got a great group of lackeys there with him, including Penn. And then you have another guy there played by Patrick Kilpatrick, who was the Sandman in Death Warrant. And along the way, he shows Grazer One's abilities. This satellite, he blows up this plant in China. It's going to cause mass war now. This one guy pays him like what was it, like $100 million or something to blow up a plane with his cheating wife in it. I thought that was funny. But along the way, his guys interact with Seagal. Seagal's taking him out, trying to get a hold, of the guys at the Pentagon. I like that those characters were kind of the same. The Pentagon scenes were what they were in the first movie, but those characters, the main general comes back. You've got the character of Breaker there as well, so a lot of familiar characters from the first movie. You've also got Kurtwood Smith, who I love in everything. He really wasn't given a whole lot to do in this movie, and that was kind of a negative for me. When you got an actor that good, he should have probably been the main guy. But of course, the main plot is just them extorting the government for profit and showing, what this weapon, what this satellite can do. And you got Steven Seagal taking out all the bad guys on his way up to the front of the train, and some great kills. I like the scenery in this movie. You've got the train moving through the mountains of Colorado and out west. It's a very beautiful movie to look at. A lot of times you got Steven Seagal running along the top of the train and fighting guys, hanging over the sides of cliffs. Just very striking as far as that goes. The bad guys in this movie I thought were really good. Bogosian plays Travis Dane. He's so over the top. He's a totally different villain from that first movie, where he had Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey. He's like a megalomaniac in this, almost to the point of cartoon level, just how over the top he is. But I buy it. He's a crazy guy. And I love Everett McGill as Penn, his henchman, his second command. I love his catchphrase when guys think they've killed off Casey Ryback. He's assumption's the mother of all f ups. And I thought that was great. And the fight that Seagal has with Penn there at the end of the movie in that kitchen where he disarms him with that knife and it goes flying into the wall. Of course, me and my good friend Brandon Smith over at Macho, we both liked that scene. Um, the weird thing about that scene is before they really get fighting too much, they got the knife stuff and then they roll down. I think there's a scene missing there. You've got Penn, and it looks like his face has been put on like the flat top grill or something because it looks like his face is partially cooked. But all they've really done is roll down the stairs. So I bet they shot some stuff that they couldn't put in the movie or for continuity reasons just didn't put in the movie. But I did like that fight. It's a typical Seagal fight. He takes him out, lickety split. But there's some good lines in there when Seagal gets him. You just ruined my jacket. I thought that was great. There's a great action scene in this movie. where Bobby asks Seagal what he's doing, and he's like, "I'm making a bomb." And then he comes up to where the bad guys are, and he's got this pager on the front. And he goes, "Here, catch," and throws it to the bad guys, and it says, "You're effed." On the pager readout. I just thought that was a great touch. That one really made me laugh. As far as wonky things, like I said, that one scene in that fight, there is some CGI. Not the satellite. I thought the satellite looked cool. When it gets ready to shoot something, it looks kind of like a giant spider with spider legs. I really like that. But like some of the stuff, with Travis Dane, where he's hanging there at the end, you can tell they cut out his superimposed face and put it on the screen because the face he's making, he doesn't move and it looks pretty stupid. But I can forgive it. A little bit of comedy in a movie like this never hurts, especially a Seagal movie where it's just deadly serious. And speaking of villains, while this movie was in pre-production, I think Steven Seagal had taken a vacation, and when he came back, um, producer John Peters, who was co-producing the movie with him, had hired Gary Busey to play Travis Dane. Gary Busey, of course, died in the first movie. So Steven Seagal was all kinds of mad about this, and he ended up getting him removed from the film. But it cost them $750,000 because Gary Busey had a pay or play. He got paid 750 grand whether he acted in the movie or not. So this movie went way over budget, and I don't think it made its money back. It especially didn't make what the first one made, and so that's why there wasn't a third one. But I thought, man, just how stupid. You've got this movie that's got a budget of $60 million, and you didn't check to watch the first movie to see who the villain was? That's ignorant. That's that's preposterous. This movie right here was the start of kind of, I wouldn't say the downfall of Seagal, but everything he had done up to this point, from Out for Justice all the way up through Under Siege had made money. People forget he'd actually made more money on his movies than Van Damme ever did, with those first 5 or 6 films. But this was the start of kind of the downward trajectory. Not that he wouldn't have more hits, because like Executive Decision was, I think, the next year, and it was a pretty good movie. But yeah, this, or I guess you could probably say On Deadly Ground, was the beginning of that. But still enjoy this movie quite a bit. Overall, man, I really liked Under Siege 2. On IMDb, this is a 5.5. Come on, guys. I'm giving this a 6.7. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's up to the first Under Siege, but it is definitely worth a watch. And this is on and off of Tubi all the time with a lot of other Seagal movies. So when you do your marathon, be sure and don't skip this one because it's definitely worth a watch. So guys, thanks for watching this video. I got a lot of Steven Seagal coming in 2024. Picked up a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays with Steven Seagal last year. And speaking of, man, 2023's come to a close. This is my last video of the year. And I want to thank you guys. When this year started, I think I was at like 30 subscribers or something. We are well on our way past 350 here at the end of year one. And I got all of you guys to thank for it. Thank you for all my new friends, here domestically, over in Brazil, Philippines, India, wherever you're at. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. And guys, as always, here it's sci-fi, mostly action, but some sci-fi, a little bit of horror. And as always, guys, I'm Andrew, and I'll see you down the line.